spaghetti and meatballs. Just hearing the name brings a smile to faces around the world. This simple, satisfying dish is a true culinary ambassador, loved by people of all ages and backgrounds. Whether you're in Rome or Rio, New York or Tokyo, a steaming plate of spaghetti and meatballs always feels like a warm hug on a plate. It's a dish that speaks of family, tradition, and the pure joy of good food. There's something magical about the combination of tender, flavorful meatballs nestled amongst perfectly cooked spaghetti, all coated in a rich, savory sauce. It's a dish that's both comforting and celebratory, perfect for a casual weeknight dinner or a special occasion feast. No matter how you serve it, spaghetti and meatballs is a guaranteed crowd pleaser. Despite its global popularity, spaghetti and meatballs as we know it isn't actually Italian in origin. While pasta and meatballs have long been staples of Italian cuisine, they weren't traditionally combined in this particular way. In Italy, meatballs were typically smaller and served as a separate dish, while pasta was dressed with simple sauces that showcased the flavors of fresh ingredients. The story of spaghetti and meatballs as we know it begins with Italian immigrants arriving in America in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Faced with limited resources and a desire to hold on to their culinary traditions, these resourceful cooks adapted their recipes to the ingredients available in their new home. They found that larger, more substantial meatballs could be made with readily available and affordable meats, while spaghetti, a type of pasta that was easy to find and cook, provided a hearty base for the dish. In the melting pot of American culture, spaghetti and meatballs quickly gained popularity. It was a dish that was both familiar and exotic, comforting and satisfying. Italian immigrants often ran small restaurants and boarding houses, introducing their adapted dishes to a wider American audience. As these restaurants thrived, so did the popularity of spaghetti and meatballs. The dish became a symbol of Italian-American culture, a delicious representation of the immigrant experience and the fusion of culinary traditions. Over time, recipes for spaghetti and meatballs were passed down through generations, evolving and adapting to suit different tastes and preferences. Today, it's a beloved classic, a staple on dinner tables across America and beyond. Making spaghetti and meatballs is easier than you might think. Here's a simple recipe that anyone can follow. For the meatballs, in a large bowl, combine 1 pound of ground beef, half a cup of breadcrumbs, a quarter cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 egg, chopped parsley, and your favorite Italian herbs. Season generously with salt and pepper. Using your hands, gently mix the ingredients until just combined. Shape the mixture into golf ball-sized meatballs. For the sauce, heat a tablespoon of olive oil in a large pot over medium heat. Add chopped onions and garlic and cook until softened. Pour in a large can of crushed tomatoes and season with salt, pepper, and a pinch of sugar. Gently add the meatballs to the sauce, cover the pot, and simmer for at least an hour, allowing the flavors to meld. For the spaghetti, cook spaghetti according to package directions until al dente. Drain the spaghetti and toss it with a little olive oil to prevent sticking. To serve, spoon a generous portion of spaghetti onto each plate and top with several meatballs and a ladle full of sauce. Sprinkle with grated Parmesan cheese and enjoy. Growing up in an Italian-American family, Sunday dinners were always a special occasion. The aroma of simmering tomato sauce and sizzling meatballs filled the house, creating a sense of warmth and anticipation. My Nonna's kitchen was the heart of our home, and her spaghetti and meatballs were legendary. I have vivid memories of helping her roll the meatballs, our hands dusted with flour as we chatted and laughed. The table would be laden with platters of food, but the spaghetti and meatballs were always the star of the show. It wasn't just a meal, it was a celebration of family, tradition, and the simple joy of good food shared with loved ones. Section 6. The importance of fresh ingredients. The key to truly delicious spaghetti and meatballs lies in the quality of your ingredients. Use the freshest ground beef you can find, and don't be afraid to experiment with different blends of meat for added flavor and texture. Opt for San Marzano tomatoes for the sauce, as they have a naturally sweet and balanced flavor that's perfect for this dish. Freshly grated Parmesan cheese adds a salty, nutty depth of flavor that can't be replicated by pre-grated varieties. And of course, no Italian dish is complete without a generous sprinkle of fresh herbs. Parsley, basil, and oregano all complement the flavors of spaghetti and meatballs beautifully. Section 7. Tips for Meatball Mastery. Achieving perfectly tender and flavorful meatballs is easier than you might think. Here are a few tips to elevate your meatball game. Don't overwork the meatball mixture. Overmixing will result in tough meatballs. If time allows, brown the meatballs in a separate pan before adding them to the sauce. This will help them hold their shape and develop a richer flavor. Simmer the meatballs in the sauce for at least an hour or even longer for maximum tenderness and flavor infusion. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Using your hands is the best way to combine the meatball ingredients and ensure they're evenly distributed. Section 8. Variations on a theme. While the classic spaghetti and meatballs recipe is always a winner, don't be afraid to experiment with variations. Try adding different herbs and spices to your meatballs such as fennel seeds, red pepper flakes, or smoked paprika. You can also swap out the ground beef for other meats, such as ground pork, veal, or even Italian sausage. For a vegetarian twist, try using plant-based meat alternatives or create flavorful vegetable meatballs using ingredients like lentils, mushrooms, and quinoa. And don't forget about the sauce. While a classic tomato sauce is traditional, you can also experiment with creamy Alfredo sauce, pesto sauce, or even a simple garlic and olive oil sauce. Section 9. A taste of home. Spaghetti and meatballs is more than just a dish. It's a culinary time capsule, a delicious reminder of family, tradition, and the power of food to connect us to our heritage. Whether you're enjoying a plate at your nonna's table or recreating the magic in your own kitchen, spaghetti and meatballs is a dish that nourishes both body and soul. So gather your loved ones, tie on your aprons, and experience the joy of creating and sharing this beloved classic. With a little love and a lot of flavor, you'll be transported to a world of warmth, comfort, and pure culinary satisfaction. Buon appetito!